Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So it's hard to believe, but we are going to do another declutter today. Yes, I know that I just did a massive declutter and then I did another one maybe a month or two before that, but there is another one here. You know, we all go through different stages in our fragrance journey. At least I do. And I know that this word journey gets overused a little bit, but for me, it truly has been a journey. You know, when I first seriously started getting interested in fragrances, you know, it was all about the numbers. It was about having more and more bottles. You know, then I started discovering niche fragrances and it was all about niche. I want to try this, that, I'm interested in that house. And again, there was a lot of purchasing. And what I realized is that right now I'm at a stage where I am curating my collection, seriously curating. And I've mentioned before that for me, curating my collection has nothing to do with numbers, absolutely nothing to do with how many bottles I have, but it has to do with me loving the bottles that I have, being happy with the bottles that I have, and being happy with the bottles that I don't have. That's what it's all about. So I am seriously taking a look at my collection and only keeping fragrances that fall into that category, fragrances that I absolutely love and that have a place in my collection. That doesn't mean that I'm stopping buying new fragrances. No, there will still be new fragrances coming in, but I am being a lot more selective these days as far as what is coming in and especially what is staying in. So let's not drag on this introduction. Let's start going through the fragrances that are leaving or that have left already. And I'm going sort of divided into two parts. First, I'm going to talk to you about fragrances that left because they were failed blind buys. And then in the second part, we'll talk about fragrances that were not fails at all, fragrances that I loved, but that just had to go. So the first one I'm going to mention here is Aurum from Kemi. This is the fragrance that I showed to you in my latest Xerjoff haul, and you could tell in that haul that I wasn't completely happy with the fragrance. It wasn't exactly what I expected. It didn't smell how I wanted it to smell, and I mentioned there that I might wait until the warm weather to test it because I had a feeling it might open up differently in the warm weather, but at the end of the day I decided no, I don't want to wait. It's not smelling how I want it to smell, how I expected it to smell, so it needs to find a better home. Second one that was shared in a haul not too long ago as well is A La Carte from Lengling Munich. And again, I said in that video that that was kind of a miss for me. The fragrance wasn't what I expected it to be. It was very quiet. It was very shy fragrance. It wasn't really about much to me. Nothing about that fragrance stood out to me. I didn't love anything about it. It was in fact very similar to another fragrance that I used to have in Decluttered, and that's Café Chantant from Nobile 1942. So yeah, that was a disappointing blind buy and it got decluttered. And the third fragrance that I showed to you in the very last haul that just came out, again, this I don't think will come as a surprise because I mentioned in that haul that this is probably going to end up in a declutter pile, and that is Out of the Box from Orlov. I still have this fragrance, so if anyone is interested, definitely let me know. And if you are interested in any of the fragrances that I'm decluttering, the best way to get in touch with me is message me through Instagram. If you don't have Instagram or don't feel comfortable messaging that way, then you can always email me. All of the information is always in my description. So anyways, Out of the Box, as I mentioned in that video, it's a lovely, smooth, creamy rose scent. It's lovely, but again, nothing out of the ordinary. To me, it smells somewhat generic, somewhat similar to a number of other fragrances that I have tried. And so I just don't see a place for this fragrance in my collection. Now I'm going to talk about 3 fragrances that I hold and decluttered pretty quickly. So they never even made it to any of my videos. They didn't make it into any of the hauls that I'm doing, just because I knew right away that they weren't for me. But I still thought it made sense to share my opinions about them with you in case any of you are interested in these fragrances. So the first 2 are from Navitus Parfums, and I've been interested in trying this house for a while. Just never had an opportunity to really sample anything. Didn't really feel comfortable, buying full bottles. And here I had an opportunity to buy partial bottles, and I mean really partial, like they had maybe, I don't know, 25, 30 ml left in each for a very good price. So I thought, okay, this is perfect opportunity for me to try these fragrances, especially because the 2 that I got together, they were some of the ones that I really wanted to try. So the first one was the Embrace. Now, everyone really talks about this fragrance as being this great gourmand with a coffee touch. So some of the notes in here are sesame, bergamot, mandarin, honey, coffee, vanilla, vetiver, and cedar. I mean, sounds amazing. And it is sort of a gourmand with a coffee touch. But what I found about this fragrance is that it's very light. And when I say light, I don't mean that it has no lasting power or projection, but it just feels very thin. It feels very light. It feels very airy. None of the notes are very substantial and very pronounced. Like there is no weight behind this fragrance. That's really how I felt about it. It was a nice scent, but again, it just didn't make an impression on me at all. And I have a number of coffee scents that I absolutely love. So I really felt like, yeah, it's nice, but do I need to keep it just because it's nice? No. So that fragrance left. Second Navitus fragrance that I got to try is Arcanum. Again, really good reviews. Many say it's sort of a gourmand. So of course, I was drawn to it. Here, the notes are cinnamon, coconut olibanum, there is oud, there is labdanum, vanilla, amberwood, whatever, something else. This one was quite disappointing. To me, this is not gourmand at all. I did not get any sweetness in this. In fact, this scent smelled quite masculine, very spicy. Spicy and masculine, I would say. And I thought originally, okay, let my husband try, maybe he's gonna like it. But even for him, he didn't like it either. Even for him, he felt like, no, there's something sort of sharp about this fragrance that he didn't enjoy. So unfortunately, both of these didn't work out for me. Again, please remember, this is based on my taste and preference. So both of these left pretty quickly. And the last fragrance that I never got to show in a haul, this is going to be a little bit controversial because this is a fragrance that is impossible to find, that so many are trying to find. I think it's limited edition. I'm not sure. I'm guessing that because it's almost impossible to find and so many people are looking for it, and I was lucky to be able to find it, and I was so excited. What am I talking about? This is the new Shalimar fragrance. So the full name is, and I'm gonna butcher this, Shalimar Millésime Vanilla Planifolia, something like this. So everyone talks about this fragrance as this amazing vanilla. Like this fragrance is all about this sweet vanilla. And I thought, okay, I am not a fan of the original Shalimar at all, but everyone is talking about this as a vanilla fragrance. You know my love for vanilla. And I thought, okay, this must be this amazing vanilla. I must try it. And when I got it, the disappointment you can't even imagine. At first I couldn't believe what I was smelling. I was like, is it the right one? I started reading the labels. Did I get the right one? No, it's the right one. It was not a fake. It was the real thing. But this is still Shalimar. I am still getting this incredibly strong animalic vibe from this fragrance, like I am in original Shalimar. Yes, there is a little bit more vanilla here than in the original, but that's about it. It is like the original Shalimar with a few additional drops of vanilla. That's it. This is my opinion. I know many that have tried it will disagree with me because that's what I've heard so far from people who have tried it. But for me, no, this was a big no. I still got the original Shalimar DNA so strongly. And addition of vanilla was very, very minimal. Honestly, very minimal. So no, that one, that one left. And this one was probably the easiest fragrance that I have ever sold. Somebody claimed it within seconds of me posting it. So that one was very easy to sell. I was kind of disappointed because I really thought, okay, I'm finally going to find my kind of Shalimar, but no, it just didn't happen. Okay, now let's go to the second part of the decluttered fragrances. These are the fragrances that I've had in my collection for a while. All of them are lovely. All of them I've enjoyed, but just didn't see a place for them in my collection anymore. First one is Insulo from Jeroboam. This is a really, really great vanilla scent. Uncomplicated, but really great. I've spoken about it numerous times on my channel, and I completely stand by what I said. But you know how many vanillas I have in my collection. I mean, vanilla fragrances are probably the most prominent fragrances in my collection. And somehow this one got lost in the shuffle. It got left behind. I used others and I sort of never reached for this one. I haven't reached for it in a while. And that's why I decided, well, if that's the case, then probably it doesn't need to stay. So Insulo got decluttered. Since we're talking about Jeroboam, I'm also decluttering the second fragrance that I have from this house, and I still have this one. This is Gozo in this stunning bright orange bottle. This is a really, really nice kind of floral, fruity fragrance that almost gives me some kind of candy vibe. It's lovely. I especially love sniffing it from the bottle, but it's one of those fragrances, anytime I think about using it, I change my mind and I end up using something else. So this one is looking for a new home. Next one that left is Serendipitous by Serendipity 3. This is another really nice vanilla with a bakery touch. Really pretty, really inexpensive. Again, it kind of got lost in a shuffle. I sort of have other fragrances that have that, sweet bakery vibe that I prefer using over that. That's just how it worked out. I just reach for them more often. And so that's why that one had to go. Next one. Unfortunately, I don't know, maybe fortunately, I had to declutter Lancome Idole. This fragrance has always been, since the day that I purchased it, has been my office scent. This was my most favorite fragrance to wear to the office. Then, the whole world changed and we started, many of us started working from home, and I stopped wearing that fragrance. But I wasn't worried when I stopped wearing it because I thought, okay, when I go back to the office, I'm gonna start wearing it again. And what happened was I went back to the office a couple of months ago, but I still never reached for the fragrance. In the time that I was at home, I acquired so many more office appropriate scents and I started reaching for those scents. So once I realized that even when I go to the office, I'm still not using it, then why keep it? That's why I kept it all this time, thinking when I go back, I'm gonna use it. That didn't happen, so the fragrance is gone. Next one that left is Dark Light from Prada. And this is a really nice amber scent. You know, during this fall, I kind of went through this amber phase, and I purchased quite a few amber fragrances. And you know, there are others that I prefer over this one. There are others that I reach for more than I reach for this one. And so again, I thought, well, why is it standing and collecting dust if I am not using it? So again, it left. And so there are two more. Next one is from Tom Ford, and I'm kind of sad about this one because it was actually a present from my husband. But you know, he's totally okay with me decluttering it. He says, keep what you love and declutter what you don't. So this is Tom Ford Noir Perfume. You know, we've had quite a journey with this fragrance because it took me a while to understand this fragrance. Then it took me a while to acquire it. And at the end of the day, at this point, although I think it's a great, great scent, it's really spicy, sweet vanilla. To me, it feels a little bit too perfumey. I really don't know how else to describe it. Maybe what I mean by too perfumey, it's a little bit too powdery. I don't know, but just too perfumey. And for that reason, I don't reach for it very often. And even when I reach for it, I can't say that I'm really, really loving it on me. Like, it's okay, but I'm not enjoying it the way that I would like to enjoy the fragrance that I'm wearing. And so for that reason, I decided that it needs to find a better home. So if anyone is interested, let me know. And this brings us to the last one, which is Kayali Invite Only Amber, what is it? 23, I think. This was the only Kayali full bottle that I had, and it is by far my favorite from the line. At this point, I haven't tried everything, but I tried quite a few, and yeah, this is definitely my favorite. It's a really nice fragrance, but I still didn't use it. You know, it's another sort of sweet, smoky, ambery, kind of nutty, slightly cherry type of scent. Really, really nice. It's a really nice scent, but I haven't used it. I haven't reached for it. It was just standing there. So again, I thought, no need for it to stand there. It needs to go. So I no longer have it. So there you go. This is my declutter for today. Of course, it is not as massive as the last one was, but still, I decluttered close to 15 bottles. So as I said at the beginning, it is very likely that declutters are going to continue because this year I'm working on curating my collection. So like I said, more declutters are possible. So let me know, have you decluttered anything lately? Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye.